Is AB5 making Uber and Lyft scumbag companies? Let's discuss.
Xbox, Twitter, Uber,
Postmates,
Netflix, MoviePass,
Lyft, Google,
Facebook, eBay,
DoorDash,
Apple, Amazon, Airbnb,
The Apptrepreneur. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. If this is your first time here and you happen to like this video and want more videos about the gig economy, streaming wars, video game apps, apps in general, whatever, please do me a favor, click the subscribe button below, hit that bell. Even if you've been subscribed for a while, consider ringing the bell because YouTube has changed their algorithm and so you might not be getting notified of my videos. In fact, YouTube might even unsubscribe you. Let's talk about something. Now, I'm making this video with a little bit of trepidation because I know that after the last time this happened, I gained, I don't know if a reputation, but I was accused, I should say, by certain people of being jealous, of needing clicks. And so I'm going to avoid that. I am going to discuss a comment that was left on my channel that it's actually not even the first time that this comment has appeared. This is just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, and I think we need to discuss it. Now, I'm going to show the comment here, and the person's identity is blocked. I do not want this to become a pissing match. I just want to debate the comment itself. And it says, for those of you who can't see this right now, well, I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but I remember it saying, you boneheads, or maybe it said knuckleheads, again, I don't have it in front of me right now, who were in support of AB5, this is what you get. And then you see that I put a response, what does this have to do with AB5? And the person in question never responded. Now, the fact that I didn't respond didn't upset me or anything. And one of the reasons that I'm blocking this person out is because this person actually has a fairly sizable YouTube channel. And they talk about the gig economy. And I watched some of their videos, and they're good videos. I like the videos. Like, when I first mentioned this person's name, I want to be able to say, I like this channel, go to this channel, good videos, definitely something you want to check out. So for my first thing to be, I have to strongly disagree with you, I don't want to seem like I'm starting a war. I will properly give a shout out to this person at a later date, but right now I need to talk about this comment. And also this is why the comment has been deleted, so that people don't scroll through the comments and look for it and track this person down. Because for someone who makes really good rideshare content, probably more food delivery, but you know, gig economy, so whatever. It struck me as a very ignorant comment, and it was a very stupid comment. And I get this comment a lot. So let's discuss this, and let's make something absolutely clear. Uber and Lyft are not becoming terrible companies because of AB5. They were already terrible companies, and they are becoming more and more terrible of their own free will. And here's the thing. I don't get why I read this comment, especially for the video it was attached to. This comment was attached to yesterday's video, Lyft is now officially run by morons, or something along those lines. It's up there, and we'll have the link in there somewhere. And I talked, and I was late, but I talked about the fact that Lyft was hiding what the rider paid the driver on the app. There was a new app update, and you can no longer see what the rider paid for their Lyft ride. You can see what they will pay you, what you will get out of it, but you will not see the cut Lyft takes. Now, you can go to their website and get a generalization of what Lyft has taken, but you no longer can get the detail from the individual rides. And I can only assume this happened because they are getting really sick and tired of drivers saying, hey, you're screwing us. I'm taking this ride for $60 and I'm getting 10 or 15 or something like that. I think they're tired of that, and I expect Uber to do something very similar to this. But we talked about how this is not something that honest business people do with their, whether independent contractors or their drivers. And in fact, it really raised the question about what an independent contractor actually was. I mean, we've been discussing this topic for a while because, hey, you don't set your own rates. You can be deactivated, which if you're an independent contractor, you're never deactivated. You just don't do business with that person again. And you don't, there's so many reasons why. I mean, you can get on and off the app whenever you want, but does that really count? I mean, when you have to do 40 to 50 hours a week, why don't you just have a 9-to-5 job at that point that pays $15 to $20 an hour? You'll get benefits as well in most cases. So we've been talking about this for a long time. And by removing this bit of information, it just brought more questions. How can Lyft say that we're independent contractors? Now, I mentioned AB5 once because what officially made Lyft stupid in this situation, and maybe I didn't make this clear, so if I didn't make it clear, let's clarify this right freaking now. They are being investigated by the government. The government is looking at them saying, hey, you're not paying your drivers well enough. You're not being fair. You're not playing by the rules. We're going to regulate you. Lyft is trying to say, along with Uber, they released a co-written letter, for Pete's sakes. Like, hey, we're going to do right by the drivers. We can do this. Trust us. In fact, trust us to come up with a third classification for what a driver is so that you don't need to regulate. Because whenever the government regulates, guess what? The government overshoots. And by the way, AB5 is affecting me in a negative way, and we will talk about it at some point. Maybe not until I get back from vacation, but remind me on Twitter. So Lyft is here saying, we're good guys. We care about the drivers. We're going to give them college. I don't know how many drivers actually take advantage of that, but it's a nice perk. But they are saying, trust us. And everything they do is not trustworthy, which just means the government's going to look at this and they're going to say, you're saying that you don't need to be regulated, but we think you really do because you're doing really shady stuff. This is not what you do to an independent contractor. You don't hide the money that's coming in. You don't hide that information. You don't deactivate them. In fact, Uber and Lyft have even switched whether or not you're doing, whenever it's convenient, it's either, hey, we're not involved, we're a mediation between the driver and the passenger. And yet, when they deactivate, it's like, they're our customer, we can choose. They change their story so much, I can't even keep track of what they're even saying anymore. And I've been doing this pretty faithfully for 3 years, coming on 4. So, this comment was strange. And I get so many like it. But let's make it clear. AB5 had nothing to do with Lyft hiding what the rider is paying for the ride. AB5 has nothing to do with Lyft lowering their rates to 35 cents a mile. Heck, AB5 is not the reason that we started at $2.80 a mile and then went down to 35 cents a mile. I mean, heck, they've been lowering the rates for a long time. And look, I get it. Some people don't want to be employees. And look, I sympathize, man. I didn't want to be an employee. I still wish there would be a Hail Mary and that these companies would wake up, pay the drivers what they're worth, charge enough to be a respectable business, but they're not. Guys, the government did not make Uber and Lyft go from over $3 a mile to 30 to 60 cents a mile. They didn't do that. The government didn't make these companies deactivate you for fraudulent complaints. The government did not make it so that when you could make a living doing this 25 to 30 hours a week, Now you have to do 60. That was all Uber and Lyft, and they were doing that before the government got involved. They were doing it before the government got involved. I don't even know in what universe this comment even relates to that video, because the video wasn't even about AB5. It wasn't, and it's very clear that AB5 had nothing to do with this. But that seems to be the new catchphrase now. Whenever something bad happens, it's like, hey, idiots, you wanted AB5, right? AB5 has nothing to do with this. If anything, AB5 would have a correlation with, hey, you have to drive for an hour and you'll get paid this much money. That's what AB5 would do. It does not make Lyft, it does not require Lyft to cover the earnings. It doesn't even give Lyft and Uber the right to do that. They do that on their own free will. And by the way, right now only Lyft is doing it, in all fairness, but Uber is going to do it too at some point. And I mean, here's the thing. How do I word this? How do I word this? It's one more way for them to control you. And that's what Uber and Lyft want. And by the way, AB5 doesn't say you can't be an independent contractor. That's one of the biggest misunderstandings about AB5. Granted, there are elements about it that suck, especially if you're a freelance journalist. And again, I will make that video at some point because I like to be transparent about all this stuff. But under AB5, you can continue to be an independent contractor. You can continue to be one. It would require Uber and Lyft letting you set your own prices. It would allow you, it would say that they can't just deactivate you, that basically a third-party arbitrator would have to decide whether or not you were too dangerous at your job. Uber and Lyft couldn't make that decision. There are things that Uber and Lyft can do where, hey, you can remain independent contractor, get on and off whenever you want. The fact that Uber and Lyft just simply won't do that, and instead they will pay money to fight, that is what's not being discussed. You can be an independent contractor in AB5. You absolutely can. Don't let Uber and Lyft lie to you. You can. They don't want you to be. They want to have their thumb on you. They want to have their thumb on you. And they have it on some of you. I'm not going to name names because, again, I'm not here to pick a fight with anyone personally. You want to do this, that's your personal choice. And I have talked to a lot of people who have taken issue with some of my comments about people who do this. And I've apologized to those people because it's like there are legitimate reasons people have for wanting to do this job. But here's the thing. I think even they know that Uber's got their thumb on them. I was even talking to someone, won't say who it is, had a great conversation, and they admitted that, they were against AB5 and they were new. Then a few months later, they're kind of starting to see the bigger picture. They're still doing it. They still love it. They're still good at it. They're still wonderful at it. In fact, after we were done talking, it's like, yeah, that's the kind of person that should be on Uber and Lyft more often. That's also the kind of person that gets exploited by Uber and Lyft. AB5 did not make Uber and Lyft terrible companies. Uber and Lyft made Uber and Lyft terrible companies. Or Travis Kalanick and John Zimmer and Logan Green. They made Uber and Lyft terrible. So, again, to the person who left this comment, it might seem like I really dislike you. I don't. I actually really like your videos. Hopefully, we can even talk sometime. I'd actually like to talk to you. I really did like your channel, but that was just such a strange comment to make, and I get it a lot, and so we just need to make the record clear. AB5 did not make Uber and Lyft terrible companies. I'm going to say it over and over again. Uber and Lyft made Uber and Lyft terrible companies. And that's where we're going to leave it. That's what I want to talk about. People need to get over this thing that, hey, if AB5 didn't exist, Uber and Lyft would be treating us great. No, they wouldn't. They haven't been treating you good for the past 3 stinking years. Why would they start now? Anyway, your thoughts. I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. Also, if gas prices are getting just a little down, check out the Get Upside app below. It's totally free, but you get cash back on every gas purchase. If you want more content from me, check out my other channels, Kevin T. Rodriguez, the Apptrepreneur Vlogs, and Autograph Hound. And finally, if you want to talk to me or other fellow rideshare drivers out there, check us out on Facebook at the Apptrepreneur Hangouts. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.